Lucha Underground. Season 3.
Man, when is the last time we saw Dominic on TV? Wasn't CM Punk singing happy birthday to him or something? Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for smashing this podcast. Better late than never, hey? Let's get into some Lucha Underground. Season 3, episode 29. Man, this like I said, this season's just snowballing along. The hunger inside. Now, as good as this episode was for wrestling-wise, I feel like we're finally getting into some underlying storylines that have been like real, have been still there, but they've been quiet. Like we haven't touched on them for a while. I feel like they're finally starting to slowly come back to the surface. And I'm going to kind of just jump all around here, but we're talking about. I'm going to start off by talking about what the promo in Captain Vasquez's office, and Cortez Castro and Veneno. We haven't seen much of him. He got thrown into this tournament. He's going undercover or trying not to be noticed by Cueto, because if he's noticed by Cueto, he's really risking his life. I firmly believe that in the show now, because at a moment's notice, anyone could literally die on this show, and we've seen that, and it's crazy. So Vasquez is talking to Castro, and just talking about how bad his match was, and then saying that she wants him to get the gauntlet from Cage. And he straight up tells her, no, I'm not going to be the guy to do that. There is no man that can take that from him. And she says something, maybe you're right. And then she pulls that half a medallion out of her drawer. And like I said, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. And is it Captain Vasquez has got the one half, and I think Katrina has the other half? I think. See, this is one of those things that they haven't touched on this in such a long time. I'm going to have to go back and research this again. I mean, I'm sure it's all, like I said, it's all slowly coming back to the surface, so we're going to start seeing more of this kind of stuff as we're heading towards the end of the season. But it's like, finally we're getting this again, It's like there's, Captain Vasquez has her job, but there's some kind of supernatural stuff in her past that's finally coming around now, that we're going to finally see more of. And another thing that we're starting to see is and more of this struggle of actual power, of supernatural power. And we also saw that in the first promo with Dario and Matanza. Dario's referring to Matanza as a god now. But he's like a god in a human vessel. That's what I got out of that. I watched it back a couple times, and just the fact that Dario strolls into the what do you call it, the belly of the beast is what I call that, where they got him caged up there with the raw meat. That the fact that he gave Matanza raw meat and that he's telling him to control his hunger, that tells me right there that there's also something very supernatural about Matanza. The fact that, why would you give, I mean, it's like, the first thing I always think of when I see Matanza locked up, I think of Sloth from the Goonies locked up in the basement of the Fratellis. But that's just my goofy old school head, working overtime. It's like, why the hell is he feeding him raw meat? He's got to be some kind of supernatural being as well. I mean, obviously he's powerful. He took out 10 guys to become Lucha Underground champion at the Aztec Warfare from last year, or season 2, whenever that was. So it's okay. You've got all these conflicts of power. You've got Captain Vasquez has some kind of power in her medallion, some kind of, and then Cage has the gauntlet, which has godlike power because he just punched, Councilman, what was his name, Delgado. And the head just exploded everywhere, including the eyeball that flew across the room and then got stepped on. brutal stuff. And then Dario talking about Matanza as a god. And obviously there's also stuff that we're seeing with Sammy Callahan and Mil Muertes and Katrina and all that too. So that, there's legit rivalries going on here, and there's also the powerful tribe stuff that's all slowly, like I said, coming to the surface. And this is going to get crazy from here on out till the end of the season. It's going to be absolutely nuts. And then, of course, you've got the creepy stuff from, Phoenix and Melissa Santos being together, him walking her to his car. And I know this is at the end of the episode. I'll get the matches in a bit. And Marty the Moth stalking her and Phoenix from what it looks like, because it sounds like he wants to kidnap Melissa. He's got some kind of sick, basically I'm assuming something similar to what he did with Sexy Star. He's got that obsession, little tick in the back of his head. Now he's got a goal. Now he's got to go after it, and he's got to achieve that. Marty the Moth, tremendous character, love it. One of the best heel characters I've seen on TV in a long time. He just keeps, like, each time you see something a little different, or it's always 1,000% with him. It's great stuff. So that's, there were all these different things going on. Quite the loaded show it really was this week. Last week. Like I said, I'm playing catch up here. All right, let's talk about the matches a little bit before we wrap this up. The Pindar Phoenix match, certainly a slowed down match from what we usually see out of Phoenix. Two different wrestling styles. But Phoenix came out on top in this one, and we find out that in the quarterfinals here, he's going to end up facing Puma, is how the bracket goes. I don't have to look at that again. I think that's how it goes, because Puma beat Dante Fox. So you got to assume that now that the Trios champions are out of the bracket, something's going to be set up for them for a title defense soon. And I got to assume it's going to be someone other, because Phoenix, Aerostar, they had their issue with the, Drago and Pindar and Luchasaurus, but now I have a feeling that's, I don't know, more or less done, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not, but we're going to have to find some new rivals for the Trios champions. Let's see. Oh, Cueto's office, talking to the Worldwide Underground minus Mundo, basically sums up and the comical stuff with Jack Evans having his jaw wired shut. They brought that into the act, which is funny. Basically explaining to them, if you do interfere, which this is so not Dario Cueto. I mean, he sometimes is a very fair guy, but then he can, twist it and turn it to get exactly what he wants, no matter what the cost. The fact that he told the Worldwide Underground, don't interfere in this main event or you're not going to get any more opportunities in the temple. So technically they didn't. They waited till after the match, and then they attacked Mundo. Or, excuse me, they didn't attack Mundo. Dear God. What's in this? It's coffee, believe it or not. I'm not going to say what's in the coffee, but anyways. They attacked Mysterio. So let's talk about that, as long as we're talking about Rey and Mundo. Mundo's match with Dragon Azteca Jr., it was real hard for me to come up with what was like my favorite match of the episode. It would definitely have been between Fox and Puma and Mundo and Azteca Jr. Honestly, I think my favorite match has got to be Puma versus Fox. Those two, geez Louise, they look like they've fought each other like 50 times before. So smooth in the ring, two very similar style match types. Just crazy. And then Killshot attacking Dante Fox at the end. And just, putting the dot in the I and crossing the T on that rivalry, like, yep, you're right, this ain't done yet. But he didn't interfere in the match. That's the interesting part. So obviously we're going to see one hell of a match. And if you've seen the trailer for season 3 that we got right as the season, started up again, the midway part, it looks like we're going to get some kind of, I'm guessing, Full Metal Mayhem match. Whatever they call it, it's going to be crazy, extreme. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be one of the best matches of the season, honestly. I think Fox versus Killshot. Can't wait. But Puma goes on. I believe Puma's going to then face Phoenix in the last part of the Cueto Cup, and we'll find out who is going to be on the other side of the bracket next week, I think. Let's see what else here. Oh, yeah, we're talking about, like I said, I'm just bouncing all over the place. Mundo Azteca, Dragon Azteca, Jr. I didn't catch if this was for the title or not. I don't think it was. I think it was just Dragon Azteca Jr. wanting a piece of him. Kind of a warm-up match, just like, Rey had a warm-up match. What else I got here? At the end of the match, Mundo's got the chair, and he's going to do some more damage to Dragon Azteca Jr. Rey Mysterio rescues him, and as all that settles down, Mysterio makes sure that Dragon Azteca's fine. He walks off. He leaves the ring. His wife, his son, and his son's girlfriend are at ringside, and, gives them some love, and then he leaves. As soon as Rey leaves, Mundo comes back down the stairs, and he starts shit with Dominic. And like I said at the beginning, what's the last time we've seen Dominic on TV? Off the top of my head, is when it was Rey Mysterio daughter's birthday, and the Straight Edge Society, led by Punk, comes out and sings Happy Birthday, and then starts the feud that takes them into WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio versus Punk in, was that 20? I looked it up just a little bit ago. 2010, I think. Dominic was born in 1997. So he's 20 years old now, and this is shot last year, so that he would have been like 19, between 19 and 20 when they shot this. Okay, that kid is almost as big as Mundo. Dominic is all grown up, folks. What we've seen recently in little news blips here and there, and if you haven't, I'm letting you know that Ray is training his son to wrestle. Where, what place, I don't remember. But the funny thing is, Matt Stryker says something like, "Oh, I haven't seen him since he was like 8," and then that made me think of that time when he was on TV with his dad, the whole birthday CM Punk thing. And so that was when Dominic was like 13 then. So, I think the 8 years old probably was a bit of an exaggeration, because I think Matt Stryker was still with the company at that time. I could be wrong, but nonetheless, whatever, numbers aside, it was really interesting to see Mundo mess with Dominic. Did not see that one coming. It was just one of those things where it's like, oh, they're at ringside, but it was great, it really was. Of course, they didn't. It was all about Dominic and Ray. It wasn't, The only thing that would have put the icing on the cake in this entire segment, as cool as it was, is as Dominic was hit from Mundo with the belt, that she would have been on the ground, holding Dominic's head and screaming for help. Something, that would have that would have made the entire segment just perfect. But the whole thing was really cool. It really was. It was because just the fact that, just the fact that Dominic was attacked by Mundo, and then the Worldwide Underground attacked Ray, made everything so much more personal. It's not just, oh, here's the challenge set by Cueto, here's the build-up. No, now it's getting personal. It really is. So, yeah, in 3 weeks, well, when you see this now, it'll actually be 2 weeks. But from last week, it's 3 weeks. Yeah, man, it's going to be one of the matches of the year. It's got to be, It is going to be really interesting to see what Dario does to the Worldwide Underground now. Is he going to ban him from the temple for the championship match, or what? It's going to be crazy. Nuts. So that's pretty much it for this very loaded episode. Lots of stories getting worked on. The rivalries, the Cueto Cups, quickly getting wrapped up in just a couple weeks now. We're going to have the winner of the Cueto Cup, and from there, it's just going to absolutely fly like a bolt of lightning to the end of the season. It really is. It's going to be nuts. That's what I keep hearing people say about how it's going to go. So, hold on to your butts, folks. So that's it for this one. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Like I said, I'm sorry it's late. And unfortunately, no Chris Phoenix joining me for this one. Just so many things getting in the way of me trying to get this done. I'm still trying to catch up on some other stuff. But God willing, hopefully, we'll be back on track for Thursday night. Nonetheless, if it's not with Chris Phoenix, I'll be here doing it. And for episode 30, we'll be back for that. So till then, we'll see you down the road. Thanks for watching.